helping women with invisible illnesses realize that you can still lead a pretty healthy and active lifestyle. It's just not going to be the one that you had envisioned for yourself, but what the hell else are you going to do about it? You can't sit around and feel sorry for yourself. It's not going to get you anywhere. Trust me, I did that for a long time and it's stupid and pointless. It's a waste of your energy, which if you have health issues, you don't have energy to waste. But even if you don't have health issues, you really should consider doing some yoga. Now, I'm saying this as somebody who has a very serious love hate relationship with yoga. I have dabbled in yoga off and on for, my gosh, well over 10 years now. And I will get into a good roll with it for a while and I'll get really into it. And then all of a sudden, and I don't know what makes me quit, but I just like, oh, I hate this. And I stop. Um, Although I will say, I was thinking about that this morning. And one thing that's gotten a lot easier for me with yoga when I first started, it was so hard for me to quiet my mind that the pace just drove me crazy. I like high intensity cardio. Well, I did at that time. Lots has changed since then. But anyway, let's talk about why you should really consider doing some yoga. This information is from lifehack.org. Number one, it's an excellent form of exercise, and yoga is super adaptable. They even make chair yoga. So there is something that you can find that will meet your fitness level. And what's really cool about yoga, as someone who has a love-hate relationship with it, like when say my IT bands really hurt, I just go on YouTube and I look up my favorite yoga people. What do you got for IT bands? And everything that I've managed to throw out there, there's been free content available, which I think is pretty cool. Number two, yoga helps you tune in to your body. Obviously, it's going to increase your strength, your balance, your flexibility, but it also really teaches you, and this is why I like it now a lot more than I used to. The pace doesn't bother me anymore because I've learned to turn that attention inward. And instead of, oh my God, this is so boring, I can't stand this, hurry up, can't we move to the next move? I really focus on, okay, if I move my leg this way, how does that change? How does that change the feel of this pose? Where's my weight in my feet? Are my shoulders where they're supposed to be? Sorry, I shouldn't fidget. But it really helps you get very tuned in to your body. And if you have health issues, yoga is a good way to figure out where your imbalances are. At least that's been my experience. Number three, yoga improves your breathing. In Western cultures, particularly in the US, we tend to be very shallow breathers. Well, it gets worse when you have chronic pain because, I mean, think about it. When you're at the doctor and they're about to do something that's painful, what do they always tell you? Breathe. You need to breathe. Take a deep breath. When you have chronic pain, you don't take a lot of deep breaths. You become a very shallow breather. And that leads to its own set of complications because now the intercostal muscles between your ribs, they don't flex and contract like they're supposed to because of all the shallow breathing. But yoga will really help you with that. Um, one thing I really, sorry, one thing I really like with yoga is it has helped me open up my back. Between the yoga and the belly dancing, it's been remarkable. But my whole upper back from like my bra line up into my skull will get so locked up. And if I stop and do some yoga breathing, which obviously is something I can do anywhere I'm at, I can really focus on feeling those muscles moving. Oh, that was awkward the way I worded that, but I can feel it. And that really helps loosen it up. Excuse me. Yoga helps you sleep. If you do light exercise just before bed, very light, it can help you fall asleep faster, which can lead to improved sleep quality. Another thing I've noticed with doing yoga right before bed is it helps quiet my mind too. That it's just such a change of pace. So it's nice to do it in the morning because then you're stretched out for the day, but it's also nice to do a short practice. Look, it doesn't have to be long, y'all. This doesn't require a major time investment. You don't have to do an hour a day. Honestly, even 10 minutes a day is going to make a big difference in how you feel and how you move through the world. You'll be really surprised if you give it a chance. It's good for your posture. Well, obviously, right? But it's in our plugged in world, and I'm really guilty of this. We're hunched over a keypad. We're hunched over our phones. And well, frankly, I'm a little top heavy. Add that into it, and I have a lot of issues with my shoulders and being rolled forward. But yoga really helps me pull that back. Well, one thing about posture, and I'm just kind of learning this, so I'm going to talk about this soon, because I think it's interesting. You know how we're always told to pull your shoulders back. Well, when you do that, it tends to make your rib cage flare out. Well, that's not desirable. So we're going to talk about that soon, because like I said, I'm just learning about it. It's really interesting because it's counter to the advice I've heard my whole life, but it made a lot of sense to me the way the guy explained it. Anyway, yoga is very good for your posture. And in our plugged in world, that is super important. Number 6, it helps you develop emotional strength. And this is probably another reason why I like it a lot better now than I used to when I first started. Yoga forces you to be present. And you know what? Sometimes for some of us, being present, it's something we're not used to, and B, it's hard. When you've been through a lot of shit, I'm just going to be blunt here. When you've been through a lot of shit, you learn to escape into your mind. Yoga doesn't allow you to escape. You have to be present. Excuse me. Many, if not most, yoga practices end with at least a little bit of meditation, which obviously is going to help quiet your mind. Anything that you can do to quiet your mind is going to reduce your stress. It's going to reduce your anxiety. And frankly, if you can quiet your mind, your body's going to follow. So if you have health issues, that's really important. Another good thing, and if I know I have some veteran friends, and so if any of you vets are watching this, yoga can be really good for post-traumatic stress disorder. There is an amazing, hard to read, but amazing book called The Body Keeps the Score. And he actually talks about yoga and how it's good for helping you process unresolved traumas. So yeah, yoga is really good for you emotionally. And it's a moving meditation. It's a moving meditation, and meditation, if you allow it to, it can change your life. That's another thing that I'm really up and down with. But I've been a lot more consistent probably the past year. I've been a lot more consistent with my meditation. And again, you have to if you can't quiet your mind, your body's never going to get quiet. Excuse me. I just discovered somatic yoga. And let's see, I wrote this down. It has a stronger emphasis on internal awareness. That's what's the difference between regular yoga and somatic yoga was what I asked. And that was the answer I got. What I noticed about the somatic yoga, everything you're either, at least the lady I've been practicing with, I'm either seated or I'm laying down. But I told my doctor one day, I said, I don't know what it is about this particular form of yoga, but for me, it's the most relaxing kind of yoga I have ever tried. Far better than yin. I hate yin yoga. That's the one where you hold a pose for several minutes. And I still, to this day, I cannot do yin yoga. My brain starts racing. And all I can think is, oh, for goodness sakes, just let me out of this stupid pose. Not a very yoga-like attitude, but the somatic yoga, I don't feel that way. And it keeps you moving, but it's I don't know, it's very slow, pretty rhythmical, but it's amazing. So if you're interested in trying somatic yoga, drop me a line and I will send you a link to the lady that I practice with, because I just go on YouTube and it's free. But that's all I have for today. I hope everybody got through the 4th with all of their fingers. There wasn't much going on here. It was cold and wet. So not a lot of barbecuing, or certainly no. And well, and fireworks in Alaska in the summer. I mean, it's daylight out. Why on earth spend a ton of money on fireworks you can't really see in the sky anyway, other than noisemakers? Anyway, that's just my opinion. Y'all have a fantastic, it is Friday. Y'all have a fantastic weekend, and I will be back Monday.